Welcome to the weigh-in where the still undefeated, kind of reigning pound-for-pound champ, never lost the distinction, mostly retired, Andre Ward joins us. What's going on, Andre, to weigh in on all the goings-on?
What's going on, Max?
Tyson Fury. I said in the previous segment that I think more of him today than I did before that fight. The way I thought more of Errol Spence after the Mikey Garcia fight for the boxing, more of Lomachenko after the Luke Campbell fight for the way he got inside, did what he had to do. What is your feeling of Tyson Fury today as opposed to before the fight?
I'm not sure that I think more of Tyson Fury because I think we've seen enough of him in the fight back in 2015 with Vladimir Klitschko when he was largely unknown. And then obviously, you know, the much talked about fight with Deontay Wilder where he had to get up off the canvas twice, especially the last knockdown in the 12th round. So I knew he had, you know, the inner makings of a champion and a guy who, you know, he's got the dog in him. But I hadn't quite seen him win like that. This is a guy with an 85-inch reach. He stands 6'9", and for him to get inside like that, to keep the eye safe where he doesn't have to see those left hands coming from Wallin the way that he did, and just to gut it out like that and to get an ugly win, I don't think more of him, but I tip my hat to him. I know what it takes to get a win like that, and I respect him probably a little bit more than I did going into the fight.
Take us through that a little bit from your, like, I remember the Edison Miranda fight. Like, why is Andre inside? That's a tougher fight than it needs to be, but you showed another dimension. That was earlier in your career, before you'd won the Super Six and all that. What I saw from Tyson Fury seemed to me to be a calculation. Look, this guy is boxing me pretty well from long range anyway, even without a hurt eye. Now I can't see the left hands coming, and any one thrown with force from the outside can end this fight. So he makes the calculation get on the inside, where that's not as much of an issue, and lean on him, use his size on him, and he had a pretty good inside game. When a fighter goes through that, how much of that is the frontal lobes, like he's really calculating, and how much of that is just a gut feeling, like he's doing it on instinct?
It's a combination of both. I mean, your coach can only tell you to do so much. Like, they can lay the blueprint out and tell you what to do, but you got to have the guts to go in there and do it, and you got to have the instincts to go in there and do it. And Tyson Fury, once he found out that cut was not caused by a headbutt, it was caused by a legal punch, and that at any point in time that this fight could get stopped, you saw a different side of Tyson Fury, and it really took the fight out of Wallin. Like, I think the cut was the worst thing that could have happened to Otto Wallin because he started to admire his work. He started to become enamored with the cut and the blood that flowed from the eye of Tyson Fury, and he allowed Tyson Fury to beat the fight out of him. That's instincts, that's gut, and that's why I tell the young fighters at home all the time, work on being multi-dimensional, because when you're one-dimensional, like Otto Wallin was, his first gear was good, but when Tyson Fury took it to that next gear and made that second adjustment, Otto Wallin couldn't keep up.
See, I like the instruction to target the cut for a couple rounds. And then you got to get back to, when you see, like, this ain't going to work out like that, get back to what brought the cut out in the first place. I know
do you really need to be told to target the cut? Like, it's a cut. Like, you try to hit the cut, you do what you got to do, but you're not overly enamored with it. And I think Joey Gamache, his coach, and Wallin just got overly enamored with the blood, and they just stopped working, and they stopped doing what caused them to cut Tyson Fury in the first place.
Andre, one of the controversial things that came out of the fight, and I'm not sure exactly where I come down on it, but I believe that we did the right thing, is the fact that when the commission, you alluded to it, when the ref said it was a headbutt, but the commission determined on replay, in fact, it was a punch, but Fury's corner didn't know. Our broadcast team, Bernardo Osuna, he gave that information to the corner. And there is an ethical question there. We become more than an observer. We become a participant in a way. But I believe I come down on the side that we did the right thing, because in the end, the correct information was conveyed. And boxing, there's that kind of relationship anyway. You know, the commission sometimes asks TV for a replay because we have the technology there. Where do you come down on that as a fighter?
I think I come down on this issue right where you did. I mean, I think the intent was not there to disclose any information. I think, you know, Bob Bennett, the commissioner for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the head commissioner, I think he did the right thing. He came out with an article with Dan Rayfield, and he said, we dropped the ball. We looked at the replay worked phenomenal, the system worked phenomenal, but we dropped the ball in terms of conveying that information to the corner of Tyson Fury, something that could have been pivotal in this fight. So there was no intent there to try to help Tyson Fury or his team. And furthermore, I think the burden also falls on Otto Wallin. Like, nothing stopped him from pushing the pace and actually doing his job on the second half of that fight. Tyson Fury took it to Otto Wallin, and he beat the fight out of Otto Wallin. And you got to give credit to Tyson Fury and his team. I understand the concern there from people. I understand some of the eyebrows being raised, but I do not think the intent was there to help Tyson Fury. And you're right. That's information that the commission should have conveyed to him in the first place. And hats off to Bob Bennett for standing up and saying, look, we got it right on the replay, but we got it wrong over here.
By the way, I take my hat off to Otto Wallin, too, because in the 12th round, he went for his. And if you haven't gone 12 rounds with maybe the best heavyweight in the world, the lineal champion, and he's 6'9", as you say, weighs 250 pounds, leaning on you with a much better inside game than you'd expect, maybe you do pace yourself in those middle-late rounds because you don't know, you haven't been there before. But then in the 12th round, he stepped on the gas, and he hurt the champion. And so I take my hat off to him. I want to talk to him on Max on Boxing in the coming weeks. Deontay Wilder scheduled for February. You and I spoke right during the broadcast and after the fight. You might be able to clear Tyson Fury to fight February, but what happens when he gets tapped on that eye again? What is your feeling about a February date for Deontay Wilder for Tyson Fury?
Listen, I've been screaming for the rematch just as much as anybody. I want to see it. We have to see it. Boxing needs it. Both fighters needs it for their legacy and their bank accounts. Excuse me. But I'm not as optimistic as a lot of people that are talking right now, saying that the cut is a foregone conclusion. Tyson's going to get cleared. That cut, it took 47 stitches, maybe 48 stitches, somewhere around there to close that cut. He may be cleared by a commissioner. But as soon as that cut gets touched, like you said, it's going to be soft, it's going to be red, and you're going up against, if not, probably the hardest puncher in boxing in Deontay Wilder. That's not a guy that you want hitting on that eye that just got cut several months prior. Personally, even though it's not ideal, even though, it makes people wait even longer, I would like to see this fight push back a little bit more just to make sure Tyson Fury's eye is ready to go. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the same, but it's going to be better. The scar tissue will have formed, and he won't have kind of the softness and the redness around the eye that he will if he tries to come back too soon, because we don't want any excuses, Max. We've had, obviously both guys feel like they got jobbed in the first fight. Wilder feels like it wasn't a draw. Fury feels like he eked it out. We don't want that kind of conversation after the rematch. Give the eye time to heal. Take a couple extra months so we can give the fans and the media and everybody in the world what they want to see in the rematch.
I totally agree with that sentiment. Canelo's fighting Kovalev, Andre. He's moving up 2 weight divisions. He was started at junior middleweight champion, fights Triple G twice. Most people think he actually did win the decision he was given in the rematch. Now he's moving up 2 weight divisions to fight, really, whether you like it or not, your greatest pro rival, right? You had 2 fights with him. The first one was very close. You stopped him in the rematch. First, quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, who wins Canelo Kovalev?
It's a lot of variables, but right now I'm leaning toward Canelo Alvarez. Sergey Kovalev is no longer the crusher. He's simply Sergey Kovalev. And Sergey Kovalev by himself is a formidable guy. He's still dangerous. He's still tough. But it's only for the first half of the fight. If Canelo Alvarez doesn't go overboard and try to put on, some enormous amount of weight and mass, I think he's going to wear Kovalev down. We know, everybody knows, that Kovalev cannot take it to the body, nor does he know how to defend himself when somebody comes inside. I could see Canelo stopping Sergey Kovalev late, somewhere around the 11th and the 12th round, because, listen, Sergey Kovalev is in his mid-30s. This is a cash-out fight for him. I'm sure he's going to try to win, but he's not the crusher anymore. It's as simple as that. He's got tough fights, tough lifestyle outside the ring. I'm leaning toward Canelo Alvarez for a late-round stoppage.
That Mayweather win, even though Canelo was young and pre-prime, is looking better and better. I mean, if he pulls that off. And meantime, Andre Ward, he will have gone up 2 weight divisions, if your prediction is true, to stop a guy it took you 2 fights to stop. There will be talk and interest in a Canelo Alvarez versus someone else with a big name matchup, maybe with best pound for pound on the line.
Who could that be?
Any interest?
Man, I'm enjoying the seat that I'm in right now. And furthermore, I don't think Canelo would do that. I just don't. I don't think Canelo and Oscar would ever say my name. He said my name, in the media, but not to that magnitude, like a call out or anything like that, man. I'm sitting back enjoying it as a fan, and I wish both guys well.
Well, my prediction is one of the 2 of these people on the screen right now probably wind up in the ring with Canelo, and I don't think it'll be me unless I'm interviewing him. Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it, brother.
Anytime.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.